This is in response to Billy's Talking Points memo from Thursday, February 5th, 2015, whatever happened to human rights. And I could almost tell right from the beginning that he was going to do two things, and that was talk about what's going on in the Middle East and then trash Obama for the whole thing. Now, of course, again, what's going on in the Middle East is very, very tragic. And I'm saying this a day later, and of course now we've been told that the one woman hostage, the one American woman hostage, was supposedly killed when Jordan sent their fighter bombers over into a stronghold of ISIL. So, but let's get back to the main thing that Billy's talking about, so I can disagree vehemently with it. And he talks about that us principled liberals, would be clamoring the White House in terms of the violations of human rights. And yes, we are, but I would say yes, we are. But we're also a little bit are looking at this as if we're not going to put boots on the ground. We're sorry. We're very, very sorry that this is what is going on. At the same time, where is Turkey? Where is Iran? Where is Saudi Arabia? Where is Qatar? What else can be done to help this situation? What can they do together? Jordan, Lebanon, what are they doing to it? Why are they always looking to the United States to put boots on the ground to solve the problems that they started? Of course, at the same time, it really wasn't a problem that they started. It was a problem that we started, because remember, the Taliban and Al-Qaeda, well, not the Taliban, but then Al-Qaeda got its birth in post-Iraq 2003, where there was a vacuum. And there was a vacuum because we got rid of all of the police force and all of the army, etc. in Iraq. And of course, ISIL is an offshoot of that, and they're even worse than Al-Qaeda. So we have our own hands in there, and yes, we should be trying to clean it up, but we're not going to put boots on the ground anymore. And it is a terrible situation, and yes, liberals have been very, very concerned about it, but we're not doing the Billy route, which is basically trashing Obama all over the place for him, calling him weak and ineffective, and then telling him that he needs to bomb more and more and more, and that we should put boots on the ground. Now, Billy wants to clarify that, not clarify, but to enhance the tragedy of the situation by indicating that what ISIL has been doing, and we just learned about more of this in the last couple of days from a UN report, is that they are taking, they are actually beheading and crucifying women, children, and others. Well, others meaning anyone who is, who is not them. So it doesn't make any difference if you're a Sunni, if you're a Shia, or if you're any of the other Christian, Japanese, whatever. It doesn't make any difference who you are, unless you're them. They're willing to get rid of you for any reason whatsoever. And of course, a part of the UN thing is that they're marrying off 10 and 12-year-old girls. They're settling them into slavery. They're very indiscriminate about who they might keep alive and who they might not keep alive. Billy basically says we don't care about all this. Now again, let's remember why Billy's doing this. He's doing this to an audience who votes heavily in elections. He's doing it to an audience of his, I do believe it's around 3 million people, who are mostly white, who the average age is 72 years old. And it's very important for Billy and for their audience to be kept in fear, because if you're fearful of what's happening over there, the fact that it might come over here, then you're going to vote for someone who's not Obama. So that's part of the reason why Billy's doing this. He did show us a little bit of emotion in there, especially when he talked about young girls, women, and children, that they were doing that. So he always has to tie everything to an Obama doesn't care, Obama is ineffective, Obama doesn't care about the slaughter, he's not willing to do what's necessary, he's not willing to stand up for the ideals of the United States. He doesn't really care about human rights, that we do not have a strategy on ISIL, that he's been clamoring about this since June of last year, June 18th, I do believe that he said it was. And of course, shortly thereafter, there came the beheadings. But let's get back to the other thing. Obama warned about this too when ISIL first got going. Of course, at first they thought that it wouldn't attract to too much, but they really got some traction. They got a lot of stuff going. And I want to take a little step back here to say again, we want to emphasize, or I want to emphasize, that ISIL is not working in a vacuum, in the sense that they're heavily recruiting. Okay, when people die, more people are coming in. There's a lot of money in the Middle East. Okay, there's a lot of sources of income where they can get money so that they can get arms and they can get their basic necessities to do what they want to do. You know, America has to cut that funding off. We will never bomb ISIL into smithereens so that they no longer exist. Because once we bomb and kill every one of them, they're going to be more. But Billy wants to think that we just kill them all and that's all going to be good. We're just going to leave the area. Of course, there is a lot of no man's land in northern Syria and in northern Iraq that needs to be taken care of. And you know, the same thing will happen again, because some strong group or some strong man is going to come in and run the whole thing. Now, again, Billy's object of this whole thing is to bomb Iraq, bomb Iran, bomb Syria, let Jordan come up and bomb, let them run all over the place, you know. And I just want to bring up a couple ending things in terms of, you know, Billy just wanting to say Obama's got to lead. That the New York Times brought in an article about Abu Ghraib to talk about all the sins that we had done, to indicate that we're not pure in all of this. And of course, we are not pure in all of this. I'm not quite sure exactly why the Abu Ghraib article appeared in the New York Times. Was there some specific reason, or is it something in deference to the fact that, you know, it's not just that ISIL was created through prisoners in Abu Ghraib, that we put them with the worst of the worst. We put everyone who was in there. We weren't really very good jail keepers, let's just say. We might have gotten information about them, but we let them back into society, and then they went out and found their cronies, and they got money, and they got funding, and they got arms, and they found an area where they could go, and that's where they went. And they want to run a caliphate there, and they want to increase, they want to go after everybody. Jordan knows what that's like now. Maybe Jordan wasn't as big a player. Maybe they're willing to be a bigger player now. Maybe Saudi Arabia is willing to be a bigger player. You know, but the whole thing is there has to be a much more of a unified effort to do it. But it's not going to come with boots on the ground from the United States. I think I'd like Iraq to do more, and more people will have to die. But I mean, this is what's been going on all along. Because remember, when Billy was talking about Germany the other night, remember, Hitler came into power in 1933. We knew what he was doing by 1935 or 1936 because we could see that. I don't remember when we exactly cut off diplomatic relations. And of course, Einstein emigrated here, I believe, in 1938 or 1939, because we knew what was going to happen. Not necessarily knew how bad that part was going to happen. We knew how bad it was there already at that time. And we didn't do anything. We did not want to get into the war. So, you know, there's a lot of things that we can do. There's a lot of things that we can't do. But to indiscriminately go over there, to start another war, just, you know, saying, and slaughter, like Billy says, slaughter the savages, like Billy says, because there's only 35 or 40,000. Of course, just like what happened in Iraq, how many more people, how many more, I don't want to use the term terrorists, but how many other people came to Iraq to fight against the United States because we invaded their country? And these were Arabs from other countries that came in, because if we were going to do it to them, then we do it to others. Same thing would happen here. If we went back into Syria, back into Iraq, there would just be more and more fighters that would come in from other countries, possibly a lot from Europe and from the United States. But again, war is never going to be the answer. War is never going to solve the problem. Well, we may have to have more fighting that's going on with troops from Iraq, troops from Jordan, troops from Turkey, if they're willing to do it, Saudi Arabia, but it's not going to come from us. And, you know, this is the type of thing, these human rights things, violations, you know, remember, Saudi Arabia has already beheaded 20-some people this year. So they've codified, you know, their state terrorism into law, okay, in those areas of the Middle East, you know, and we're not going to be changing that either now or anytime soon.